There is a reason that changing your habits is so hard. It's not because you're weak or lazy or undisciplined. It's because your brain is wired to protect you, not change you. Hi, my name is Dilan. I'm a psychologist and coach, and today I'm going to break down how to actually rewire your brain using neuroscience so that you can change your habits the way you want to and finally make them stick. Did you know that every time you practice something new, your brain anatomically changes? Every single time, not when you plan it, not when you think about it, but when you actually do the thing, your brain can change. And exactly that is how habits are built or rebuilt. That's the principle we're going to focus on today. We're going to zoom in, look at the science, look at the way your brain works. And then when you finally get out of this video, you will have the necessary skills to become the person you always wanted to be the person that you literally put down on your vision board this year. So if you've ever felt stuck, this right here is what you've been missing. Just to make it clear, today's not about motivation or mind hacks, how you can hack your brain, or which affirmations you can use in order to get started the right way. And no, it's not going to be about all of that. All of this works in some way or form, but today we're actually going to go deep and talk about our brain, the way it works, and how we can use its function, its system, to work for us instead of against us. So if you're ready, buckle up. This is going to be a good ride. The first thing we're going to talk about is neuroplasticity. It's concept in neuroscience, which is very simple and yet so powerful. Simply put, neuroplasticity could be described as your brain's ability to physically change its structure and connections based on what you do, what you experience, and what you think. The concept of neuroplasticity proves that our brain is not a fixed structure, it's not a machine. It's often called like the supercomputer, but it's not a computer, it's not a machine, but it's more like clay, if you want. So clay is changeable with enough pressure, with enough repetition, you can form clay. And that's what you can do to your brain. You can actually form your brain in a way that you want to, that serves you best. There's this very simple scientific principle that I love to teach when talking about neuroplasticity in the brain. And it is neurons that fire together, wire together. What does that mean? Your brain is made up of neurons, and those are connected. And these connections basically determine the route every signal takes when going through your brain. For example, if we experience pain by touching a way too hot cup of water. So we touch the cup, and our sensory signal gets sent to the brain, and there are connections that the signal goes through before the brain determines this must be painful. So the signal gets sent back to our finger where the sensory signal was fired from in the beginning. And when it gets back to the fingers, we experience pain in the fingers. That's a very simply put way of how we experience pain. Pain, for example, it is made in the brain and not in our actual fingers or wherever we feel the pain. Why am I explaining it that way? Because these connections are what makes our brain, basically. And now that we know through neuroplasticity that we can change the connections or build new connections between neurons, that's life-changing. Which is why it's so important for you to understand what neuroplasticity is and how you can use it for yourself. So this basically means that every habit that you build for yourself literally creates stronger connections between neurons. How? By repetition. When we do something over and over and over again, the neurons start to connect in a certain way. And the more we do it, the more we repeat that habit, the stronger the connections get. Why? Because neurons that fire together, wire together. The brain rewards the neural activity that gets used a lot by making it stronger. And that is how we build habits, through repetition. Good or bad doesn't matter. Your brain doesn't judge. It doesn't make a difference in neural activity whether a habit is good or a habit is bad, which can work for us but also against us, because if every night you grab some snacks or the chocolate bar and you finish it, your brain starts to strengthen that connection of, after eating something, you always want a snack afterwards. That's just simply a bad habit you have. And because you've done it so often, and I'm guilty of that too, and I'm trying to break that habit and build a new one, the more I do that, the more I grab to the snack, whatever it is, the stronger the connections in my brain get, and the harder it is for me to stop the habit, because it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about good or bad habits here. Our brain will strengthen anything that gets used a lot. That all sounds very simple so far, right? So now the question is, why is changing habits so difficult then? Why is it so hard for us to do that? You can imagine those old connections that we always use, the old habits that we've always been using since, I don't know, we can think. Those old habits, those old connections are like highways. They're very easy to drive on. It's very fast. It's very easy. You don't have to think, because it's literally just follow the highway until you get where you want to go. Easy, automatic, fast. That's how you can think of your old habits, the highways. Now, when you think of new connections you want to form or new habits you want to build, those are more like dirty paths through the forest that you never used before. Because it's slow, we have to think a lot. I don't know where to go. Do I go left? Do I go right? Can I step on this? Is it safe? And all of these things that this small dirt path, that's what I'm going to call it now, this new habit we want to build makes it difficult for us and makes it difficult for our brain to send us that way. When there's a highway right next to it that we have always been using, it's safe, we know it. So in the beginning, when you try to change your habit, your brain will always prefer the highway over the dirt path, because it's just easier and faster and safer for us. At least that's what the brain thinks. The brain will always choose efficiency. Always. Always what gets us to wherever we want to go faster and without obstacles. So don't be discouraged when you try to change your habits. It gets hard. It gets awkward. It gets weird, whatever. Don't be discouraged by that, because that's just your brain screaming at you, stop, this is new, I don't know how we're supposed to act here, I don't know where we're gonna go, where are you gonna step next, the path is so new and unfamiliar. So what the brain actually fears is unfamiliarity, and not that you're gonna fail or anything else. So it's always just because the thing is new that it feels bad to us. Now that we've understood that, here's the actual juice. How do we rewire our brain to make it easier for us to build new habits or break old ones? Here are 3 rules that I follow and that I can really recommend you do too when you want to change yourself in that way. So my 3 rules of rewiring are: repetition over motivation, emotion sells it, and small wins build bigger roads. Let's go into it. Quick interruption, I just wanted to let you know that I have a few spots open for my one-on-one coaching right now. So if you feel like you want support navigating your own human experience, there's a link in the description for a 15-minute discovery call with me. We meet, we talk, we see if coaching is the right next step for you. Now let's jump right back into the episode. What do I mean by repetition over motivation? Your brain doesn't change because you want it to. You do not wake up one morning and scream, I'm so ready, I'm gonna do this, today is the day I'm gonna change my habit, I'm gonna reach all my goals and everything will be perfect the way I want to. That's not how life works, and that's not how your brain works, because your brain needs proof, it needs evidence, and it uses what you know, your experiences, to underline why the behavior you choose makes sense to you. So what does that mean? If you have learned that you eat a snack after your meal every time and you're still alive, then your brain sees the snack eating as evidence that we can survive. It's good for us even. Or we need this in order to survive. So we gotta give our brain new evidence, new proof. How do you collect proof? By repeating. That's how you're gonna give your brain proof. So even when you do the thing you wanna keep doing, for example, reading 10 pages a day, even if you do it for 5 minutes every day, that's repetition enough. And that's what we need, repetition, in order to prove to our brain that this habit is very useful for us. We have to revisit the dirt path over and over and over again until slowly it starts to become an easier path to walk on. And at some point, the more we repeat, if we do it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, if you repeat it for a long time, then the dirt path is not a dirt path anymore. It became a street. And the street gets bigger and better until it's the most efficient way for your brain to move. So keep that in mind. The dirt path in the beginning, it's hard to walk on, but the more you walk on it, the better it gets for you to walk on it or ride it at some point. So repetition is key, and motivation is not going to help you here. I can tell you that. I've tried with motivation. I've tried to trick myself into motivation. I've tried affirmations. I've tried rewarding myself to regain motivation. But motivation, that's the thing. You cannot rely on that, because motivation only happens when you start doing the thing and you see results, and the results are the reward you needed in order to keep going. So in order for motivation to be rather stable, and you never know because motivation fluctuates even with your mood, with your emotions, with the cycle period you're in. So even like us women, it's way harder for us as well because our body changes throughout the month, so we're not always as motivated. Never rely on motivation. The only thing you can rely on is repetition, and repetition is easy because you only have to do the thing every day. Make it easy for yourself to follow the plan. When it's, I want to read 10 pages a day, just read 10 friggin' pages a day. It's not that hard. Find time to do it, find time to repeat it, because if you want to be someone that reads books, you need to start small and start repeating the thing. Rule number 2 is emotion sells it. Because neuroplasticity just works better when you link an emotion to it. And that is, thank God, that's science-backed. So this is not something I made up. This has been found in studies. So here's what they say. If you are able to connect that new habit with a strong emotion, like excitement, hope, pride, whatever emotion you choose or you feel, when you can connect the new habit to that emotion, your brain tags it as important, which makes it easier for your brain to change its connections and to start firing down new pathways that you build for yourself. So try to look out for emotions that you feel, or try to actively feel one strong emotion when doing the new habit. Sometimes it's difficult to generate emotions when you don't truly feel them. So this step or this rule requires you to actually look inside and look at what you're feeling and distinguish between certain feelings. There are so many people out there that cannot distinguish between certain emotions. They feel good or bad. They don't know that good has like 50 different shades of gray. So try to start there first. If you're not really connected to your own emotions, that's a prerequisite. So how can you do that? Through observing yourself. When you feel happy, when you feel good, try to stop for the moment and really feel into it and just reflect on what exactly could this be. Is this pure, simple happiness? That's fine. Or is it something else? Do you feel excited? Do you feel interested? Do you feel awe? Do you feel pride? What exactly do you feel that makes you feel this way? This is what's called emotional granularity. So it's a skill that you can build for yourself that basically allows you to distinguish between your emotions. Same thing goes for bad emotions, the ones that don't make you feel so good. This could be anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, contempt, disgust, whatever it is, try to really find the one single emotion you feel. And when talking about new habits, building new habits, or neuroplasticity, I encourage you to look out for a positive emotion that you really strongly feel, and when you can link your habit to that emotion. For example, you want to go to the gym every morning, then try to really look into what makes you feel good about doing it. Is it that you feel proud of yourself afterwards? Or is it the excitement you feel when you drive your car to the gym? Or what exactly is it that makes you feel good by doing this? And you can also try to answer this by thinking about, why do you want to build that habit? Where does it come from? Where is the wish coming from that you want to build this new habit, that you want to go to the gym every day? What is the reason behind it? And really dig deep. It's not because it's summer and you want to have that bikini body. No, but try to feel, not think, try to feel, why am I doing this? Maybe because I want to grow old and I know staying healthy helps me raising my children that I'm going to have at some point. What exactly is it for you? Try to find that why, try to find that emotion, and when you found that emotion, link it to your habit. So try to actively feel it every time you do the habit, you do the repetition. And that will help you. That will help your neuroplasticity thing to get going faster and better, and that will help you build a stable system in order to really implement that habit. And the last rule I have is basically consistency. Small wins build bigger roads. It's that easy. We want to build a new highway in your brain. And for that, you need consistency. And for consistency, don't change too fast. Don't make a 360 turn and expect your brain to follow along. Your brain will be scared, so scared when you make a big change. Because our brains hate unfamiliarity or new things. Why? Because they are unpredictable. Our brains have this one task, this one goal in life, and that is keeping us safe, protecting us so that we survive. And how do we survive? In environments where our brain knows what happens next, where our brain can predict what's going to happen based on our experiences, and so on and so forth. That is the thing with our brains. So when you change something, for example, you change locations very fast, your brain will be scared. You're going to have so much fear. And that's normal, because fear helps the brain to survive, because fear is basically just a signal that it's unsafe for us and we need to make it safe. So let's start this way. If you have to change quickly because something happens, sometimes life is like that and something happens that we didn't expect. Fear is okay and fear is normal, and you can feel your fear. It's fine to sit in it. How can you fix it? How can you go back to normal? When you help your brain prove that the environment, no matter if it changed, is still safe for you. Fear is just a cry for safety. So try to become familiar with the new environment. For example, if you had to move or something, try to prove to your brain, collect evidence that it's still safe for you here. The more evidence you collect, the easier it is for your brain to let go of the fear. So that's when something unexpected happens. But most of the time, we're in control and we can implement change the right way or the slower way, which is very, very much better for our brain. So do it small. Do it step by step. Small changes only, because that is easier for our brains to grasp. And if we constantly try to shock our brains by implementing big changes, we're not going to get far. So small, repeated wins, tell your brain, this is safe, this is okay, we can keep doing this. And it just translates into whatever you're trying to change about yourself. Let me think of another example. Maybe you want to get better at talking to people. You don't want to feel so drained socially when you go out and get a coffee or something. Then you tell yourself a habit I could build is every day when I go to the coffee shop to get my coffee, I will compliment the guy or girl who gives me my coffee. I don't know where this came from, but this could be just an example, a skill you want to build, a social skill you want to build. You want to become better at communicating and at being social. So every time you go to the coffee shop, you have a nice conversation with a person behind the coffee machine. So the habit that you want to build is every day you go to the coffee shop and you want to say something nice. Instead of implementing a big change, going in and screaming at everybody, I love everyone here and I'm gonna free drinks for everyone because I love you so much, that's not gonna work and that's gonna freak your brain out. So instead, try to just walk up to the coffee shop, go in, maybe say hello, grab your coffee, say thank you, and leave. That could be the first day. That could be the second day. And on the third day, maybe you try going in, saying hello, going for your order, saying blah, 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 I want whatever I want, an Americano. And then you say, I'm so bad at this. Then you say something like, your hair looks really good today. I just wanted to tell you, you look amazing. And if that's too big, don't worry, we can go a step back. And if that's too big, you could just go, hello, give your order. And at the end, you can say, thank you, have a nice day. I hope you have an amazing day. Whatever the small steps for you are, try to think of them before you do them. So really put a plan and say, okay, on day 3, I'm going to say this. On day 5, I'm going to say this. We don't want to be creepy and start talking too much to the poor guy or girl behind the coffee machine. But you get where I'm going at. So you have to do it step by step. You have to do it in small, digestive steps and wins. And every win you have, every day you will experience a tiny win, which is amazing because they add up at some point and you will feel amazing because you see that it gets easier to talk to people. That was such a good example. Okay, that were the 3 rules and now let's bring it home. Here's a small overview of what I would want you to do today. Choose 1 habit at a time. Not 5, not 2, 1 habit. Do you want to start reading? Do that. Do you want to go to the gym? Do that. But don't start to read or do 10 other things like building your social skills. Focus on 1 habit. That's so much change for your brain. Please give it the space and the time to change and don't overwhelm it by changing 10 things at once. Pick 1 habit a day or at a time. You know what I mean. Focus on small daily reps. Repetition is key. We're going to do 1 push-up a day. We're going to read 10 pages. Whatever is small and easy for you to digest and easy for you to do that and not more. I know sometimes when we've read the 10 pages, don't keep reading until the book is finished. That's not how you build habit. That's how you read a book. But we don't want to read a book. We want to become a person that reads every day. See the difference? It's important that you see the difference. We don't want to go to the gym and do a PR and leave. We want to be a person that goes to the gym regularly with ease. And when you want to become a new version of yourself, it requires repetition over time. I cannot tell you how much time you need. Some people need 2 weeks. Some research says it takes 21 days. Some research says it takes 60 days. So I'm not going to give you a time frame here. I'm just going to tell you if you want to become a new and better version of yourself, do what I say. Pick 1 habit, split it into small daily reps, and keep going. Follow the plan if you can. Anchor it with a positive emotion. Smile, or that's easy, smile, or celebrate. Feel proud of yourself afterwards. Whatever works for you, try to anchor it with a positive emotion. And if you want to track it, habit trackers are always nice, but when you want to track the thing, you should track the reps and not the results. So you shouldn't, on your gym routine, and I'm not like a fitness coach or anything, but you shouldn't track when you lost 2 pounds or 2 kilograms, whatever. That's not the thing you should track, your weight. But what you should track is your repetition. Even if it's just like a crossing off the day, I did the thing today and tomorrow and the day after. Just like that's a simple habit tracker. You can get them anywhere. You can build them yourself. It doesn't take much. It doesn't have to be fancy, but tracking it can help you feel proud of yourself when you look back. And tracking you could help you just give you a sense of time. How long have I been at this? Of course, we can look at the results in between, and at the end, it's important to see that something has changed. But believe me, in the beginning, there's gonna be discomfort. It's gonna be hard. So the focus shouldn't be, oh, when am I gonna get the results? When will I be skinny again? The focus should be that you do it every day and that you repeat the thing every day. I cannot repeat myself often enough. I'm gonna say this like 10 times. Please do it easy for yourself. Make it easy for yourself. Repeat the thing. Pick one habit. Link an emotion. It's easy if you want it to be. Remember this. Change doesn't happen because you want it badly enough. It happens because you show your brain, one step at a time, one day at a time, that it is safe to change. Your brain is always listening, and your job is to simply teach it what it should believe. This right here, that's the human experience. Thank you for watching. If you've stayed this far, I am so happy because you guys have shown me the best support I could have ever imagined for myself. So thank you so much. I love doing these videos for you and these episodes for you. If you have any wishes for any other topics, please don't hesitate to comment them or DM me. And I can't wait to see you in the next one.